Hey there, welcome back to Toole Talk. It's Amber.
And Heather.
And we are here today, lucky number 13.
Woo-hoo.
We're also going to do a little giveaway, so make sure you listen till the end and we'll tell you what you have to do in order to win some free stuff. All right, I am going to start out today and we are going to be talking about programming. What that means is programming your workouts. What exactly do you do?
But you don't just show up and do a whole bunch of stuff and then go home.
Yes. So there actually is some science to putting together workouts that are created to actually make a result happen.
Yes.
This is where we are specialists in this. We do
Yes.
this all the time for lots of different types of people, for lots of different reasons. Classes, individuals, partner workouts, all of these things. And programming is really important when you are looking at your fitness plan. And this is one of the issues that I have with people just doing random workouts or free stuff from the internet. Because although there's some really great information out there, we've got some free information out there. I'm not saying, not to do it. But the problem is a lot of times what people are trying to do with their workout, they're not going to reach the goals, the results that they're striving for because they're not really doing something that's programmed for them.
No.
And exercising is not just throwing a bunch of exercises together and calling it done.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm sorry. You can't do that. Well, you can,
can,
but you won't get the best results.
And you'll probably hurt yourself.
You could hurt yourself, and you're not going to get the best results because there are a lot of things that we take into account when we create a workout for someone.
Right? And those mass workout stuff that they shove in your face on TV and on the interweb is not programmed specific for you.
No, it's not. So what are some of the things that you need to look at whenever you're talking about programming your fitness plan? Well, let me give you a little insight into my brain.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Hold on, everybody.
There's a circus in there. Maybe I shouldn't open that up. But
only open part of it.
Okay, we'll just talk about the exercise part. So when someone comes to me and they start talking to me and I ask questions or they're telling me what they want, my brain is going 90 miles an hour because here's what I'm listening to and looking for. Number one, I want to know what this person's goals are.
Yes, goals are important.
Yes, and sometimes there's such a wide range of goals people can have when it comes to fitness. So the first time Heather and I chatted, her goal was to be able to do her runs without bonking in the middle of them or feeling like crap at the end of them. That was one of her first goals that, she talked with me about, which that had to deal with nutrition, but still nonetheless, it's still a goal. A lot of times people come in, they want to lose weight, but hold on, there's a lot of information that goes with that. Somebody else might come in and say, listen, my shoulder's been bothering me, my knee's been bothering me, I want that pain to go away. Someone else might come in and say, I realize I can't get down and up off of the floor. So I need to know what they want to do in life and where their brain is, what they're thinking about as far as goals go. And I sometimes I like to have multiple goals because we have a lot of things.
They do change from one point of your life to another, even from 1 week to another, they can change.
This is true. And you might start out, you might come to me and say, hey, I want to lose weight. And then you realize I want to be able to do a pull-up, you know. So there's nothing wrong with changing your goals. And you should.
Absolutely.
We should always reevaluate.
Fluid.
The other thing that comes into that is what are your personal likes and dislikes? If you come in and you tell me, Amber, I hate running. Why would I program running into your workout if you tell me that you hate it? Now, I have worked with clients where there were some things that they didn't want to do. And I said, honestly, for your goals, we have to incorporate this.
Typically, that involves a burpee. Nobody likes to do the burpee, but it is a functional exercise.
Yes. So personal likes and dislikes is a part of that. And then the other thing is your body. I need to know what injuries have you had or do you have now? What issues are you having in your body? What surgeries have you had? This is something that a lot of times people don't even realize. No. If you have a surgery, your body is probably not functioning like it did before the surgery. I know I don't from some of my scar tissue. I know like atrophy of certain muscles, and you have, weakness.
Right.
For my ladies who have had babies, I have had women come in who had diastasis recti and they didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. And these are things that need to be taken into account whenever your programming is being put together. The other one, I just had this conversation with someone the other day. She's talking about doing a workout program, not with us, but whatever. And her daughter had just had a baby, and she's like, I want my daughter to come work out with me. No. And I said, she needs to go see a pelvic floor physical therapist first. And she goes, oh, so ladies, if you have birthed children, you need to make sure that your pelvic floor is okay and ready to go.
Peeing a little bit when you jump up and down comes from.
So, and that's the majority of women that we work with have that. Yes. So that is important. If you're not able to control your pelvic floor normally, then that means your core isn't as strong as it needs to be, and that affects every single movement that you do. So interesting things that you have to look at whenever you are programming your exercise, and that is different for each person. So that's the tip of the iceberg, y'all. And Heather, I know that, you and I work on programming a lot. This is something that we're really great at. So what are some of the topics that you consider whenever you're working with someone and programming things?
So programming has turned out to be very fun for me, which was very interesting when I first started training and learning how to train people. I was very overwhelmed, but once I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is fun. And it comes naturally to me, which I love too. But you've got to concentrate on intensity. So if you're lifting the same weights at the same momentum every single time, you're not going to get any progression, right? Yeah. You'll get stronger, but you won't see any real progression happening. So you got to plan in the intensity level. It also needs to be measured. Yes. So you need to make sure that if you're on a workout program and you have a specific goal in mind, keep notes.
Yes.
Yep, bring your notebook to class with you. Bring your notebook to your training session with your trainer. Keep track. I know Amber and I do when we go work out. We have a little notebook and we track what sets we did and how much weight we did, the tempo that we were working out, so that way we can track our progression and know where we want to be the next time. Because it's so hard because, most of the time people don't remember, did I do an 8 or a 10? And I can't tell you how many times clients will walk into class, what weight do I need for that? So at some point I will guide them, but then at some point I start putting it back on them. I'll be like, okay, what do you think you need? And they'll say something and they'll just tell by the look on my face. I'm like, no, we can do a little heavier. Or I can typically tell by someone's facial expressions when they're working out whether the weight is heavy or not. And I will just quietly go grab a heavier set and sit them in front. And they're like, I knew you were going to do that, right? So then they'll get to the point, well, there we go. So you need to be able to keep in mind and track and measure. You also need to be deliberate and intentional in the exercises that you're doing, right? Because if you're, I see a lot of times, so of course, a lot of times people just want to do the bicep curl. Well, there's a whole lot of muscles all the way around, so you need to be there's different ways that you can do it. So you need to be deliberate in your movements. And we try to program all of the different kind of muscle groups into our sessions. And that leads me into the next one, which is cover the full body. So we see a lot of bodybuilders, especially the men's out there, who got really big pecs and really big biceps and backs, and they got tiny little bird legs because they don't want to do lower body, right? So you need to be proportionate, not only because you look really weird, but it's important for your balance and your overall movement throughout the day. Because here at the Training Toole, we do functional workouts. Yeah. We don't do stuff that you're really not ever going to repeat in everyday life. And if you're not working out a section of your body because that's not really what you constantly, well, like when I was on our running podcast, I was talking about a lot of runners just want to work on the lower body, but it's super important to keep everything in. You got to do the upper body and you got to do the core because it's all connected and it all helps you in that running movement. Same thing with just sitting down and getting up off the chair or off the pot. It takes more than just your leg muscles to get you up and down. Yeah. So you need to make sure that you're covering the full body.
Those are great tips. And then I just wanted to also include some things. Now, this is getting a little bit more sciencey, but
we love
you
the
have
science.
to move in all planes of motion. So that's your transverse, your sagittal, and your frontal planes.
Yes.
So all of the exercises that you do need to be hitting all three of those
Forward
planes.
and backwards, side to side, and diagonal.
And
Most of the
then
time, the people that
rotation.
you see at the gym are just doing frontal.
Yep.
Right?
That's about it.
That's about it.
And the other thing too is incorporating all of the different aspects of fitness. So you've got muscle strength, muscle endurance, cardiovascular endurance, agility, speed, mobility, flexibility, balance, all of these things
are
yes.
important.
So I always find it so interesting whenever people say, their workouts are boring.
Yes.
Or when I know it can be overwhelming. Like you said,
Yes.
when you're a beginning trainer,
Right.
there is a lot to learn, a
Yes.
lot to know. But when you are creating workouts for people, the world is so big to
yes.
pull from. And so if you know someone and what they need, and then you take that knowledge of training principles and programming principles and put those together, you should never be bored with what you're creating for your clients.
No.
If you're a fitness professional that
Right.
happens to be listening to this. Now, I do want to say this because you might be working with a fitness professional and maybe they do have you doing some of the same exercises. There are some techniques, like right now, what Heather and I are working on is a little bit more of a bodybuilding style. So we do the same workouts weekly, but we're working on increasing our intensity through the increasing of the weights each time.
So there is definite
change.
Yes.
And that we also work with tempo as a part of that. And what that means, so, a lot of times people are just like slinging the weights around, right? But if you focus on tempo and let's say bicep curl, because most of y'all know what that is. You're going to bring your hands up towards your shoulder and slowly bring it down. Well, if we bring those weights up for 2 counts, so we go up for 2, give me a squeeze at the top, down for 4, 3, 2, 1, up for 2, squeeze at the top, down 4, 3, 2, 1. Changing that tempo changes everything. Yeah, the exercise completely, but also how your brain connects with that muscle, which is huge. You can go and you could squat all day, but if you take a moment to breathe and focus on your tempo and think about the muscles that you should be contracting and relaxing, it changes the exercise completely.
Absolutely. If I say this one time during the day, I say it 20 times during the day. Slow down.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Everybody wants to go fast because they want to hurry up, get done. Well, typically my exercises are timed instead of counting reps. So I'm like, you can go as fast. You're just doing more, but you need to be able to slow down to get that full range of motion in those muscles.
The full range of motion and also that contraction.
Yes,
You've got to keep the contraction on the muscle you're working, because if you don't have that tension on the muscle, you're not really training it.
No.
So
you're just going to hurt your elbow.
Yeah, something along those lines. So that's very important, and certainly your workouts can be designed with a lot of different aspects to make sure that you don't get bored, but also that you're hitting your entire body and you're reaching your goals.
Yes.
If your goal, I'm just going to say this to you because I see a lot of people do random exercises.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
If your goal is to lose weight and you want to see most people say tone up, which basically means you want to see your muscles better.
Yep.
And I say, okay, we're just going to go run. That's the only exercise you're going to do. That doesn't make any sense because at some point your body is going to get adjusted to the running. You're not going to lose fat there, and you're not strengthening the muscle to get them bigger to where you can see them. So that's just a simple example of you've got to do things that are actually reaching towards your goals.
Deliberate and intentional.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
The way.
And stay consistent.
Yes.
If you are not training weekly at the set number of times that you need to do, for most people it's going to be somewhere around 4 to 5 days a week.
Yes.
Then you're not going to reach your goals
No.
either. You've got to stay consistent.
Yes.
So one good week of working out ain't going to get you the body you want. All right. You got to keep going. But thank you for joining us for lucky number 13. And now it's time to tell you about our giveaway. So hopefully we've taught you a little something about programming here, but you may need some guidance. So we are going to give away a specialized fitness plan programs by us specifically for you. So here's what we need you to do in order to win. We need you to leave us a review wherever it is that you listen to this podcast. But on top of that, I need you to email us at amber@thetrainingtoole.com and let us know that you left the review. Tell us where to look because we want to make sure that we don't miss it. Also, if you will share this with someone and let us know that you sent that to one of your friends to let them listen to our podcast, we are going to put your name in a drawing, and we will be drawing for this free program, which is a $375 value. We'll give you a date and let you know. So if you're listening to this later in the future, I hope you didn't miss it. But if you did, send me an email and maybe I might have something else a little free for you.
That's right. We always have good training tool stuff
to share
away.
and to give. Yes, we do.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging with us for episode number 13.
Woo! Lucky number 13.
Let's stay tuned for number 14.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.